Mr. Josh Pierce, my good friend and fellow nutrition coach. How are you doing today, my brother?
Excellent, my man.
Good, man. So today, you and I are coming together to put together a 4-part mini-series here. What to do, a lot of things here over the coronavirus with the lockdown that we got going on, man. What's the little background we came about this? I know you got contacted me yesterday and you're like, hey, man, this is what we need to do. We really need to educate the people today.
Yeah, dude, it really just started. First off, for those of you guys that don't know us, and I'm not going to go into a deep, high-level overview, or I'm not going to go into a deep overview, but give you a very high-level overview. We both went to our level 1 nutrition certification together and have been friends since. So basically the last year and a half or so. Connect probably on a monthly basis by phone. And I just gave him a call yesterday when I was on my walk or, just kind of chilling. I think I was making dinner or something. Gave him a call and got to talking about everything, how this has affected our business and how this has affected the value and impact that we're able to create. And this kind of segued into, wow, we should really do something. We should record a podcast again soon. He's been a guest on my podcast a few times. I've been a guest on his. And it just came about that, hey, we could talk for days on this coronavirus situation, how to make the most of it and prioritize nutrition, prioritize workouts. What should you do? What should you not do? And we just kind of realized that we're going to talk for hours and we better break this down into a mini series and give you guys straight to the point value in each episode. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to roll this out in 4 parts. First one is going to kind of intro the situation, intro what's going on, and talk about how you can maximize your time during the coronavirus situation. So a lot of you guys are working from home, on lockdown, gyms are closed, limited groceries, all of that. We're going to tell you what you can do to make the most out of this situation. So that way, when this all passes, whenever it passes, you're not sitting there thinking, oh shit, I just lost all that progress that I made in the first quarter of 2020 or 2020. I almost said 2018. What the hell am I thinking? In the first quarter of 2020. And the second episode we're going to do is going to be talking about workouts and how to really maximize movement during this time. Of course, you're not going to work. You're not going to the gym. That leaves a huge void in your daily life and your daily activity. And you need to replace that with movement at home, just by increasing stuff. So we're going to talk about that. The third one is going to be talking more about nutrition and why you shouldn't be prioritizing your workouts during this time. And in high-level overview there is your workouts are just a fraction of your daily calorie burn. You can get a much bigger return on your investment of time and energy and stress and all of that if you focus on the nutrition piece. It's just going to be much more impactful for you in the long term. And then the fourth one is going to be just tying things off with mistakes not to make during this time. Mistakes that'll leave you feeling like you just fucked off this entire time and lost all your progress, or leave you feeling like you didn't have a chance to get ahead when everybody else is out there making progress and working toward their goals. So that's kind of what we're going to do today, and we're going to roll them all out to you guys all at once, and really excited for that. So yeah, did I miss anything there?
No, dude, you hit everything nail on the head. I think the one thing I want to say to both of our communities right now is this is a time right now you're allowed to be emotionally scared. I get it. There's a lot of things going on out there, but a big picture of me and Josh getting together is to kind of cool that down a little bit and try to get you guys to understand that all this progress that you've had fitness-wise, nutrition-wise, it's not going to go away. And you can really control the things that you can control. And the things that are out of your control are definitely what is going on in the world today with the coronavirus and having to be home and work from home or not work at all. Those things do suck. They do impact your life. They do impact your gym performance and your nutrition, but they don't have to. So you're looking at it. We want to say you're looking at it the wrong way, and we're going to dive into all of that, guys. So the number one thing we want to talk about in this episode is how to make the most out of a negative situation. I'm going to let Josh kick this off because I know this is one that is near and dear to his heart. He had a lot of ideas on it yesterday. Dude, what do you think, man? I know the one thing you told me was abundance over scarcity. And I love that, man, because you're so all about that.
Yeah, that's huge, man. I think it's so important that you're and actually, to take a step back, I've come from a background of scarcity mindset, and I still struggle with that today. And if you don't know what scarcity mindset is, I don't even know if I can summarize this. It's really thinking small, thinking everything, you coming from a place of scarcity, everything's limited, your time's limited, resources are limited. And really, I realized that is just the programming that, I had inadvertently been programmed into from my childhood, the way my parents thought and the way what was programmed into them and the beliefs that ultimately controlled the direction of the life that I was leading. And later on in life, literally within the last 6 months or so, I realized holy shit, I've been thinking about this all wrong. there is a place of abundance you can be thinking of. And when you're coming from a place of abundance, when the way you see life is out of a lens of abundance, it changes everything. And it changes a negative outlook on a situation and turns it positive. It's like looking at the glass half full rather than half empty,
Right.
that kind of thing. And so often we think this situation like this, especially with the coronavirus situation, it's, oh my gosh, I can't work out. I can't go to work. Oh my gosh, I can't get my groceries. I can't do this. Stop thinking about it from a place of, I can't do this,
Right.
and start thinking about it from a place of, wow, I get to do this. I have so much more time to focus on nature, getting outside, doing the things that I love. I'm not commuting anymore. Oh, look at the things I can do now with that time. I can maybe start reading, journaling, getting a morning workout in, all sorts of different things.
Right.
So really it just comes from seeing the positives in this situation. Yes, it's a shitty situation. We're not taking that away from you. Like, it sucks for everybody. And for those who have been personally affected with the virus, or people that have the virus, it's even worse. But that's not going to change the situation. We could sit here and dwell on it, but the reality is, like, the situation's going to be what it's going to be. Quarantine or not, you can either move forward and progress and seek opportunity and be better, come out of this a better person, or you can sit there playing victim in scarcity mindset and look back and realize you just got nowhere. And at the end of the day, if you play victim, and not to say that you're not, like, a lot of people have been victimized by the situation, whether you're out of work, laid off, whatever. If you play victim and continue to really like wallow in that, you're not going to get anywhere. So the choice is yours. You can seek the opportunity and realize all the opportunity this is creating and make the most of it, or you can sit there and wallow in your situation and not really go anywhere. So it's up to you to decide where you want to be in 90 days.
And that's just the thing too. Like, you are allowed to take your licks with this, whether you're affected by it or not. And most people are affected by it and will be affected by it down the road. There will be more layoffs. This is what happens when these things happen. People will lose their jobs. People have to work from home. People have to go on unemployment. But like Josh is saying, like, you can either tuck tail and run and sit and not do a damn thing about it, or take your licks, wipe off your lip, and say, what else do you got? Because that's the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing to move forward each and every day. You're at home, whether you have loved ones around you or not, kids around you or not, your animals around you or not. Like, you are home. Make the most of it. Like, when is the last time you took time to clean out your closets? Go for a mile run. Try to PR that mile run. Try to get outside more. Try to take pictures of nature more. Like, this is the time to be positive. Like everyone says, I don't have time to do those things in my life. I wish I had more time, Josh. I just wish I had more time to work on my side hustle. I just wish I had more time to work on my hobby. It's like, haha, the tides have turned, haven't they? Now you have the time to do those said things and spin it to a positive way. And I'm not saying brush the negative underneath the rug. Like, those negatives, and when you dwell on those things, they're going to be there. You're allowed to have those damn emotions. We are human, but you don't lay in that bed. You don't lay in that bed. You don't quit. Spin the positive on it. And once you start looking forward to things, like Josh said, I get to stay home with my kids. I get to be home with my boyfriend, my girlfriend. I get to do these things that I wasn't able to do. Everything fucking starts to change. Dude, that's such a powerful message.
Yeah. And one of the things I remember, one of my business mentors taught me this, and he always said, small people run from their problems. Big people face their problems. And that's something right here. Like, yes, this situation is a problem, and the small people are the ones that are sitting there working all day in their pajamas and 2 weeks into this nonsense and still feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm a pile and I'm not getting anything done. I'm not moving towards my goals. This sucks. I just want this to be over. Big people see it as, oh my gosh, I have all of this new free time on my hands. All of a sudden realized those things that I was spending my time on, they're not that important to me after all, because they don't support my goals. They don't move me closer to my goals. And actually, I can be so much more successful with my goals now that I've removed those from my life and have an opportunity to create new opportunity. And one of the things I've been working on with a lot of my one-on-one clients this week and last is creating an ideal morning routine. And that one's huge, because the one thing, when I ask people what their morning routine looks like or why they don't have a morning routine that they're confident in, they always say they lack time. And I get it. You lack time. Time is time is your most sacred resource. But at the end of the day, we all have 24 hours in the day. People are involved at the same level. And from there, now, time we all maybe work our 8-10 hours a day or whatever your situation is, but the rest of the day, we're not going anywhere. We're stuck home trying to figure out what to do with that time. And yeah, maybe you choose to, watch Netflix, eat wine and drink cookies, drink wine and eat cookies.
That sounds good to me, man. That sounds good to me.
Right. No, it's great. But if you're choosing to spend every night like that, when you could be working on that side hustle, working on that dream, or going to bed at decent times, you can wake up and actually have that ideal morning routine. Oh my gosh, it's a completely different situation. So, big thing there is just see it from a place of what can I do, not what, how negative the situation is. Just seek opportunity in every situation.
Right. Like you really don't have an excuse not to do it. Now, if you sit around and you keep doing the same thing and you wallow in that own self-pity and woe is me this way and that way, like nothing's going to happen like you just said. And I want to recap on what you just said just a tiny bit because there was a little bit of fuzz there, guys. So I do apologize for that connection. By the way, Josh is in Florida. I'm in Chicago, so that's going to happen. But Josh is saying everybody has the same 24 damn hours in a day. What you use that for is completely up to you. Can you rest? Can you take this time for rest and relaxation? Please do. Please do. We live stressful lives. This may be a time where, hey, you don't have to get up at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning anymore. You can sleep in a little bit hour later, or you can get up, go for that morning walk, have that morning routine like Josh said. And I think that's this first episode. I think if you can take one thing away, it should be that and that alone. That morning routine, guess what? You have time for it. You don't have an excuse anymore. The restaurants are closed. The bars are closed. Your friends can't ask you over. All these things. You want to sleep in till noon and not do it? Guess what? That was on you. You want to wake up in the morning, putz around, Netflix and chill first thing in the morning? Guess what? That's on you. All those other outside forces that you wish weren't there, and I wish I didn't have a weekend plan here. I wish we didn't have to go to that party. Guess what? They're gone. They're completely gone. So now what's your excuse? You don't have one. You can still get outside and walk. You can still do a little bit of workout first thing in the morning. Do it before your coffee or grab your coffee and go for a walk like Josh does every single damn morning. And he makes a video. He enjoys the morning first thing in the morning right away because it's what he likes to do. It's kind of his way of waking up to his routine, to his morning routine. And that sets the pace for his day. This is all about setting the pace for your day, guys. You shouldn't be dwelling until noon, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, then get your day going. I mean, if you guys are out there working, congratulations, you're heroes. Some of us can't do that. I get that. There's a lot of you that have to go to work. I get that. Thank you for your due diligence and you guys doing that. You're heroes in my eyes. But for those who want to change, this is the perfect time to change. And I love that you're trying to get your clients into more of a morning routine because right now that is more important than ever because we really have no excuses to do that.
Exactly. And one of the things, I just want to share a little bit about that so that those of you at home, I know a lot of people struggle with that morning routine. And I know that, one, because I coach it. And two, I was that person. I struggled with it. Gosh, I struggled with it until very recently, actually. And so for years.
Me too. I had nothing, man.
You actually, believe it or not, you actually impacted my morning routine. And this is where you impacted. I remember one of the early podcasts we did. Now, for years, I spent trying to take other people's routines that were successful and just apply them into my life and realize, all right, this isn't working. Nothing ever worked. It all sounded picture perfect. I do this and then I journal for 10 minutes and this is what I journal about. And then I do this. Nothing really worked for me. But the one thing that really stuck was when you mentioned the importance of it, the importance of making your bed and why they, like in the military and all of that, you get that one easy win under your belt for the day. And I remember that. And I use that as an example in my coaching all the time. It's like, if you should make the bed every morning, but you don't, and it's like a goal of yours, but you just don't, you just get lazy and don't do it. Think about what that does to your confidence. You can't even trust that you can do something as lousy as making your bed when you say you're going to. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's there to look over your shoulder, to watch you, to force you to do it. That's integrity. So when you walk out of your bedroom and you leave your bed unmade, when it's like something you should be doing, you're telling yourself you're going to do that and you can't. You don't even do that. So you don't trust yourself to do a small thing. How can you trust that you're going to follow through with your goals? and get that job promotion, or lose the weight that you say you're going to, or build this new lifestyle that you say you want. If you can't even do something as small as making your bed, or going for a walk, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for. So that it goes back to the integrity. And on the flip side of that, it's a great way to get those few easy wins under your belt. So I always say, I kind of want to walk through this real quick. Close your eyes and picture in 5 years, what your ideal day looks like. And now, to save time, just picture what it looks like from the time you wake up until the time you get to work. What does your morning routine look like in 5 years? Because in 5 years, you plan to be a lot more successful than you are now, I hope. And your day probably looks a little bit differently. What kind of things will you be doing in your morning routine in 5 years? And now take those things and make them fit into your day right now. And how you do that is start by listing everything that you would like to do in a perfect morning if time wasn't an issue. Everything that you would like to do. If you want to work out, if you want to stretch, if you want to do yoga, if you want to read 10 pages out of a book, if you want to sip coffee on the balcony and uninterrupted for 15 minutes, if you want to watch the news, whatever it is you want to do, write it on a list. And then go through that list and even add the things you need to do, like breakfast and shower and all of that. And then go through that list and mark down how much time you would like to give to each one in a perfect world. And then start with, and then prioritize them based on, starting with the shower and getting ready, and then probably breakfast, and then work backwards in order of importance. And what you have now is a priority list of things that you can add to your morning routine. And now take the time, if you're working from home right now, take the time that you have to open your laptop and start work, and work backwards from there. So say it's 8 a.m. Work backwards from there and start with the most important thing. So probably shower and get ready. So say that takes 30 minutes. All right, so now we're at 7:30. And now we've got to make breakfast. Say that takes 10 minutes because you can eat at your desk. All right, now we're at 7:20. Now I'd like to get a nice walk in. That's 20 minutes. So now we're at 7 o'clock. And just continue reverse engineering that until you have everything added to your morning that you would like to do in a perfect world in 5 years. And don't worry about the order that they actually play out in right now. Just, we want to figure out the time that you need to wake up. So then we can reverse engineer that and figure out 8 hours from then is the time that you need to go to bed. So now we have a picture perfect night of 8 hours of sleep, waking up and doing every little thing that you wish you could do in the morning. And for me, that took years to craft and years to figure out. But now what I realized is I can wake up at 6 a.m. I do 10 minutes of meditation. I pour my coffee. I do a 20-minute walk. I come back and I journal for 10 to 15 minutes. And then I make my breakfast. And then I go about my day. And I have all these perfect little things in there, the journaling, the walk, the coffee, these things that I want to do in 5 years. I created them right now. Because the reality is, if you can't make time, if these things are important to you and you can't make time for them right now, and you won't make time for them right now, when you have nothing else going on, when you have plenty of free time on your hands, I am not convinced that you will be able to do that in 5 years. If you can't figure out how to do this shit right now, you will not do it in 5 years, because you're only going to get busier, more responsibility. This is going to become less of a priority if you can't even make it a priority right now when you have nowhere to be. So that is my spiel. I will get off my soapbox about the morning routine. But the reality is, like, if you can't make it a priority now, you're never going to. I'm not convinced you're serious enough about it to make it a priority in a year, let alone 5.
Right. And if you can, it's going to be 10x as hard to do it down the line that it is right now. Because right now you have the time. You have the time. And if someone's listening to this right now and you have a shoe full of kids at home and 2 dogs and all that, I get it. I get it. It's even more important for you to try to prioritize some type of nighttime routine that leads into a better morning routine, because without that nighttime, there is no morning routine. You can't just go to bed at midnight and be like, oh yeah, Josh said, I'm going to wake up a little bit earlier every single day. Well, no, you're shutting that window of your sleep. It's just everything's going to blow up and start blaming us for what's really not happening. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that you work backwards. Now, that's a great way of looking at it. And you're actually killing, if anyone listening to that, like, man, that was a great idea for Josh. I never really thought about it like that. I'm gonna give a little bit of insight here. He just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. If you go ahead and put pen to paper on what he said, work backwards, guess what? You just started time blocking. Now you started time blocking your day out. Now you're looking at a piece of paper like, holy shit, I did what Josh said. Now I just did what Anthony said. Now there's time blocking down. And now my day is actually, my routine is a set in stone morning routine. And guess what, Josh, what happens after about 60 to 90 days of doing exactly what you just said?
It's not even 60. I know exactly.
I know it's not. I know it's not.
90 days. I bet if you did this morning routine and stuck with it for the next 21 days,
right,
and maybe crafted it a little bit after the first couple days to figure out what really works, you're going to have a solid morning routine in a month. And the reason that is because you buy into it when it's your own. When you believe in it, when it works for you, now you're more likely to wake up and do it. When it's, if I'm taking Anthony's routine and just trying to apply it to my day, fuck if I'm going to wake up at that time to do it. Like, no, there's nothing about this routine that I think is going to benefit me. But when it's mine, when I closed my eyes and envisioned the things that I want to do with my morning, and if that's sitting on the freaking balcony and having coffee for 15 minutes without moving, without talking to anybody, without my phone, so I can disconnect from the world and just watch the sun come up. Now that gives me something to look forward to. And it gives me a reason to get out of bed and get excited. And now you're not groggy hitting snooze. You're like, oh, great. I get to start my day. I get to go on this walk. I get to start, responding to people in the DMs and adding value to people's day. Like whatever it is, you should look forward to it. And that, like he said, you build out a schedule. And I like to have this morning routine written down so it's almost like a to-do list. You work your way through it and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins under your belt before you used to even get in the shower.
Right. So that's the big thing. It's just this big confidence builder from the first time, from right when you don't hit the snooze button, boom, your alarm goes off, boom, your feet go on the floor. Guess what? You're already winning. Before you leave the house, everything's working. The bed's made. You're coming home to a made bed. You're already winning. You're starting a day on such a positive note. Nothing can go wrong. And let me tell you what, if it does go wrong, you do hear a speed bump, it's nothing. You're like, whatever. It's like swatting a fly out of your face, swatting a mosquito out of your face in the summertime, man. Yeah. That's all it is. It's a buzz by and you're like, done. Get it out of here. And before without that routine, you'd be like, son of a bitch, nothing's working. I don't know what's going on. You do know what's going on. What's going on.
And if you don't have a solidified routine, you still have these things you want to do, but then you hit snooze until you're waking up late for work. And then what you do is you wake up with a big fat L under your belt. You just took a big loss, and now you got to start your day with an L under your belt. So we could talk all day about the morning routine. A couple other things, just rapid fire real quick. What are a couple other things that you can do to make the most out of this situation with Corona? What do you think? A couple other things that you would just give some people right now.
Besides the morning routine, I would say since you have the time and maybe you are getting done with work or not working at all and you are at home, get your stuff done, wrap some things up, and try to shut off all the electronics to adhere to a nighttime routine. This is the time to try something new. You all know about the morning routine. You know how much that can build you up, and you know how much that can actually bring you down during the day. Josh just said it. We just went over it. Listen to it, rewind it, write that shit down. Try a little bit to get to bed 30 minutes earlier tonight. Then go 45 minutes earlier the next day, and then go an hour. Try to see if you can get to bed a bit earlier to wake up at a decent time. Next thing you know, you're actually putting in that 7, 8, 9 hours of insane amount of sleep, and you're going to wake up like a fucking rock star.
Yes. And it really comes back to holding yourself to the highest standard. Like, do you really deserve to get 5 hours of sleep and be low functioning the entire day? Or do you deserve to wake up on 8 hours of sleep, feeling refreshed and not groggy, ready to attack the day? And it really comes with creating control and just creating control in as many situations as you possibly can. And that's what I was going to tie this off with, was instead of seeing this as, oh my gosh, this sucks. Yes, it sucks. But winners are going to go out there and create control where they can. And sometimes you're going to have absolute control, and great, take advantage of it. Sometimes you're going to have little to no control at all. Great, take advantage of it. Do what you can, do the best you can in every situation. And one more that I wanted to add in there is structure. Maintain structure. The reason we struggle on Saturdays and Sundays as opposed to Monday through Friday is because we don't have the structure of our weekdays, like our work schedule, if the kids go to school, workouts scheduled, all of that. We don't have that on the weekends, and we struggle, right? So I always used to say the key to having a successful, I still say, key to a successful weekend is to take some of that structure from the week and plant it into the weekend. Now, right now, your weekdays are pretty whack as well. Do the same thing. Take some of the structure from your normal life and transplant it into your weekdays. And maybe that is meal times. Maybe that is waking up and going to bed at the same time every day. Maybe it's going for a walk or scheduling your workouts or getting them done before you start your workday. Whatever it is, try to create that structure and identify where your areas of friction or weakness are and get out in front of them with structure or additional levels of accountability somehow.
Absolutely. And use this structure, use this platform, use this base and the concrete to build the foundation of something beautiful that's going to come to you after these 2, 3, 4 weeks that we won't be able to go back to the gyms and to work and go back out in the public. If you take that time, I can promise you, and so can Josh, we can promise you that you take the time now to build that structure. When you start adding all that lumber to that house, when you start adding all those 2x4s, guess what? You are going to have such a more powerful structured week, month, and year ahead of you. Take the time now because we don't have the time after. We know we're going to get busy. Josh Pierce, thank you so much for episode 1, brother. Where can everyone find you really quick?
Absolutely. So Josh Pierce Nutrition on Instagram, Facebook. I have the Fit to Be Fierce Facebook tribe. It's a free tribe, massive community where we're all working together toward the same common goal of fitness and nutrition, and just trying to create the lifestyle that we know we want to live when we get there. We're creating that right now and learning how to live our goals or reach our goals, living the lifestyle we want to create in the future. So that way, when we get there, we don't have to let our foot off the gas. We can work right through the finish line, living the lifestyle that we've really our dream lifestyle. So Fit to Be Fierce Facebook tribe, Josh Pierce Nutrition. That's what I got.
Guys, what is going on? I am Anthony Guzzo. I am at Everyday Anthony J on Instagram and Everyday Growth Podcast. Guys, thank you so much once again. We will see you soon in part 2.